Yes, hello. I have Dragon deck in GOAT format that plays similarly to an Edison deck, and it's fantastic, and I love it, and I want to share it with people. And this is how I'm doing that. So this is the deck. This is the version 2 of the deck. Version 1 had slight ratio changes, nothing major. So let me go over why I put these cards in my deck. You might be noticing it has Blue Eyes White Dragon and Red Eyes Black Dragon. That's intentional. I didn't misclick. That's on purpose. The reason being is because of these cards, actually. Kaiba Man and Red Eyes Black Chick can trigger the Last Will, which allows you to search Cyberstein. Because the whole linchpin of this deck, the reason I built in the first place, is you want King Dragon on the field. I was watching YouTube videos, as you do, absorbing Yu-Gi-Oh content, and I saw this card, and I was like, why is this legal in Go format? I would like to make a deck with this card and play this card, because I don't see anyone playing this card, and it seems busted, so I want to try to make a deck. And this is what I came up with. Basically just like special summon as much as possible, and try to kill your opponent while clearing the board beforehand, and just kill them with dragons. Doesn't that sound fun? So like I said, the Red Eyes Chick and the Kaiba Man are there for the Last Will. Last Will targets are the DD Warrior Lady, the Exiled Force, which also can trigger the Last Will if you get that with Rhoda, and the Cyberstein. This card's at 3. I'm playing 1 just because it's very searchable with the Last Wills. I'd rather play the 3 Last Wills than multiple Cybersteins, so I don't want to hard draw more than 1 most of the time. The BLS is just an extra special summon. It's a broken card. You have some lights, Kaiba Man, Shining Angel, Blue Eyes, Red Eyes is your darks. Warrior Lady is the light. Fusilier is a dark. Cyberstein's a dark. Tomatoes. There's a lot of lights and darks, so a lot of fodder. A lot of your combos are going to be putting dragons in the grave. Most of the time, you can banish a Chick and a Kaiba Man, or a Chick and a Blue Eyes. Red Eyes and a Blue Eyes, summon this guy. Cyberstein, you have a lot of fusions. A lot of great fusions. I didn't do any research into what fusions are really the meta Cyberstein targets. I just looked at the fusions that were legal in GOAT, and these were all the ones that seemed good. This one's a standout performer. The Gatling Dragon can pop up to 3, which is really nice. And this guy is pretty good at negating traps like Mirror Force or Ring of Destruction. Warrior Lady is there to be searched off of the Shining Angel when you don't want Kaiba Man. And it's just a good card. And it helps you out things. You can attack it into recruiters and then banish them to clear the board for your other stuff, which is nice. Exiled is there, like I said, for the Last Will. Mostly, and because it's searchable off of Rhoda, which is a very, very good combo. Rhoda, Exiled, Last Will, to find your Cyberstein. And then Fusilier is there as a meta target to go into King Dragon, since it's a normal summonable level 7. It's also a dark for BLS. Kaiba Man, like I said about Red Eyes Black Chick, is there as a way to trigger Last Will. Also, it is a light for BLS, searchable off of Shining Angel as well as Rhoda. The Kaiba Man being searchable off of Rhoda is the reason why the Rhoda package is even in the deck, and then that is what made me discover how good Exiled is with Last Will. Mystic Tomato is really good because if they attack into it, you can get Cyberstein. If they don't attack into it, you can attack into their stuff, or you can swap it and then get the Cyberstein. You can also use to get Chick to get Red Eyes out of your hand in order to metamorph that into a King Dragon, which is a good play. Nothing else really to get with that. Shining Angel, like I said, is Warrior Lady. Kaiba Man, special summon Blue Eyes, which triggers your Last Will, because they tribute themselves. Yes. Sorry, I was just thinking about whether that would trigger Super Rejuvenation, but I don't think it does, because it says you send this. It doesn't say tribute, so that would not trigger Last Will, the Black Dragon's chick. They renamed that at some point. So Blue Eyes, they have to be special summoned off of King Dragon to reach certain breakpoints. If you have Red Eyes, King Dragon, Blue Eyes, and Cyberstein, that's 8k. If you only have 2 Red Eyes, a King Dragon, and a Cyberstein, that's 7,900. So that's one of the reasons I put the Blue Eyes, just so you can get special summon that at the end of your combo with the King Dragon, and then reach that 8k breakpoint. It's also just, you know, big card. You can go into Gatling with it with Metamorphosis, which is nice. Gatling's a good card. Allows you to blow up to 3 monsters on their side of the field, regardless of position, which is nice. Unfortunately, I don't think it's optional. So if they only have like one thing and you get multiple heads, it can kind of backfire. Card destruction is really good because you're playing all these big monsters that can brick your hand and like a bunch of spells. So you want to set like a Last Will or a Metamorphosis and then dump the rest of your bricked hand and then get a new hand, which is very nice. Also, it allows you to high roll and dump like their duo or their Pot of Greed or their Graceful Charity, which is or like they're heavy and then you know they don't have heavy or Mirror Force, so pretty underrated card. A creature swap for the recruiters basically, or just to get rid of your Stein. So a lot of times you'll be summoning Stein off of Tomato, it's stuck in attack, and then on the crackback they can hit you. They can hit over this thing and kill you because you just paid 5,000 life. So that's not great. That comes up sometimes. Even if like you Last Will and summon in defense, they can still pierce through it sometimes and kill you. So creature swap, being able to give that and then take something in order to like clear their board, clear a recruiter or something, so that you can attack in for lethal, and then give them your own recruiters to make them live during battle phase, and then just like kill them that way. So it's a pretty live card in this deck generally. Bad top deck though. This deck has a lot of bad top decks. You generally want to kill them before you run out of cards. It's like an aggro deck. Duo, because Duo. I originally didn't have this in the deck, but because you're paying so much life with Stein, but it's just too good not to have, honestly. 2 Trunade, because 3 felt like too much, where you drew multiples too much. You really only want one of these, and then Heavy's too good, so you can cut one, honestly. It might be correct to play 1 Trunade, but I wanted to make sure that I could get through back row. People play a lot of back row in GOAT format because back row is very good. Graceful, because it's graceful. Nothing really to say about that other than it just helps you see more cards. The discarding doesn't come up too much. It can help you like pre-mat, I guess. I don't know. It just helps you see more cards basically, and it helps unbrick your hand, I guess, is the main value of it. It's just a good card. I don't gotta sit here and explain to you why Graceful's a good card. Heavy, because you want to clear back row, because you want to summon a bunch of monsters and then kill them, so you gotta get through the back row. 3 Last Will and 3 meta. I was experimenting a lot with the ratios on this just to see if it was optimal to play 3 of each. I've come to the conclusion that I think it is, but I'm probably wrong. It might be 2. I mean, they're both live fairly often. You like Metamorphosis just helps you, like, getting multiple copies is a good thing generally, because it just helps you push and like special summon more. You can convert them pretty easily. Like, you can Metamorphosis Red Eyes to go into King Dragon, which allows you to special summon another Red Eyes, which if you have, you can just keep that going. The more Red Eyes and the more Metamorphoses you have. Like, if you normal summon Fusilier, Metamorphosis, turn that into a King Dragon, special summon a Red Eyes, Metamorphosis, special summon a Red Eyes, Metamorphosis, special summon a Red Eyes, and then, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just build a huge board the more of these huge dragons and Metamorphoses you have in your hand. It's like a chain effect, and then you end off with a Blue Eyes, ideally. And like if you run out of Red Eyes, you end on a Blue Eyes, and then have another extra Metamorphosis, and you can turn that Blue Eyes into a Gatling in order to clear their board, in order to push. I believe I've mentioned all of the Last Will conversions. There's a lot of them. The Chick, the Exiled, the Kaibaman, the Meta, which has a lot of targets. You can creature swap the Recruiters, Battle Phase, and then Crash. If you summon like like if they leave your Recruiter up from the turn before, you swap it and then summon another one, and then crash them. You could Last Will of that potentially. Just like a lot of ways to activate Last Will. I was considering cutting the MST because it doesn't really do enough. Just trading one card for one card in a deck that requires a lot of like multi-card combos at the least 2-card combos. There's not really a lot of one. There's no. Stein's the only like 1-card combo in this deck. The rest are all 2-card combos. So the MST just trading 1 for 1, just going 1 card down in your hand that's not pushing, is just to get rid of one of their back row is kind of lackluster a lot of the times. But it being able to quick play target something on their turn when they try to do stuff, like they snatch Steel or they like, I don't know, Royal Oppression, they're like on a Royal Decree, something like that. Just being able to like spot remove back row is good on their turn. I found a lot of use with it. Just it might be worth cutting though. I don't know. Knock, because I think 1 knock is good. It is a board break deck, obviously, and this helps you get through things that are put face down in your way without triggering their effects. I decided to run 1 instead of 2, just because you don't really want to draw 2, because they're generally only going to set 1 card on their turn, and that's where if you draw the 1 knock, then you're good. If you draw 2 knocks, you've bricked your hand, and now you're probably going to lose. So that's like the ratios are really tight. You really don't want to brick your hand. You don't want to like have a bunch of cards that if you draw multiple of. That's why I used to have 3 Tornado and 2 Kaibaman, 2 Angel, but I cut them down because you don't want to really see multiple Kaibaman. You don't really want to see multiple Angel. You want to see Tomato, which is why I have the 2, but you don't want to see multiple, which is why I don't have 3. And I used to have 3 Chick, but I cut that down as well because I was drawing way too many Chicks. The reason you want to play more Chicks than Kaibaman is because you want to convert into Red Eyes more often than Blue Eyes to get your Metamorphosis King Dragon play. Pot of Greed, Premature Burial is good for pushing for damage. You just pay 800 life points, get like a Metamorphosis Red Eyes from your grave back into play. Potentially, Metamorphosis it again, right? You can just do a lot with the Premature. It helps in a lot of situations. The Rhoda targets were later exiled. Kaibaman's the main reason. It's Rhoda for Kaibaman or Rhoda for exile for Last Will to get Cyberstein. A lot of good Rhoda plays in this deck. It's a very good card. Play 2 of them. They're pretty much always live because you have 3 targets. 3 targets, 2 Rhoda, so you're never gonna they run out. Swords is a weird one. I like it just because if you do brick, Swords kind of just buys you time. This deck just kind of needs time sometimes. This card just gets you there in a lot of situations. Like you just really need like a Metamorphosis, and you have like everything else. You can't really use those cards because you want your to combo off. So you can just drop a Swords and then just like sit there, and just. You can also use it before you play anything if you're going second, and then flip up their set just to see what it is. If you don't have like a knock, you can Swords it and then just see what it is and then play around it. You could combo that with like a Snatch Steal, right? because this only works on face up. So this helps you turn it face up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that requires to be face up. The lightning vortex. Swords Lightning Vortex can clear their board. That is like, I've never actually done that, but I just thought of that right now. That's a pretty good combo. Yeah, but it's mostly just for the stall. Just get a couple extra draws, see if you can do anything. Because it doesn't really matter like what they're playing during those turns that they're under swords, because you just like AoE clear their board and then attack. So you don't really care. Deck Devi is really easy to proc in this deck. I've never actually drawn it in any game I've tested on this deck, but so I can't say whether it's good or not. But you know, I mean, you could summon shit pretty easily. Don't know how Deck Devi works with Fusilier. Probably doesn't work. It'd be broken. You can normal summon Fusilier and just Deck Devi. Probably not how it works. It probably comes in with the reduced attack and defense like already before this happens. So yeah, yeah, you can get a 2000 attack Dark Monster pretty easily. You could like pre-mat, and then Deck Devi you could just Red Eyes Chick. You could Cyberstein, Cane Dragon special it, and then just get rid of that, or you can just get rid of the... What does this target? No, it doesn't target, it just tributes, so you can just get rid of a Cane Dragon even. You can get rid of a Gatling. Mirror Force is a weird choice. I didn't have it in originally, and then I decided to put it in just because in situations where you're going first, it's good because they like attack into your set, and then you can just Mirror Force, their board's clear, and then you just kill them. It's kind of the idea. Same idea as like TT, but TT will clear like your Mystic Tomato, which is why I have that in the sideboard for matchups where I want to take the recruiters out against aggressive decks, where these are kind of slow. Then I bring in the TT. The Decree, because we're playing very little traps, because it's an aggressive deck, very spell heavy, very monster heavy, so we want the ability to turn off trap cards is really just amazing, and you can just not have to worry about them. It's essentially has the same effect as like using heavy or Giant Trinity, but you have to wait a turn for it, which is why I only play one of them and put another one in the sideboard for when I'm going first, or for when I'm going against like a really control-y deck that has a lot of background. One Solemn, just because I like to diversify my options in the main deck. I don't really want to stack a bunch of Solemns or a bunch of Decrees, so I want to keep and like a bunch of like 2 knocks and like 2 creature swaps. Like I want to diversify my options with the swords. You know, obviously I could just play a knock instead of the swords, but this diversifies my options. And that's why I have one Solemn to diversify my options. And then a lot of the times going first, I'll put the other 2 in. They're in the sideboard for a reason. I'm not a huge competitive player, so I don't really have any knowledge with the sideboard, just a bunch of cards that I feel like will be useful. And once I have matchup knowledge, cards that are a little bit slower against decks that kind of slow me down, that give me a little bit means to keep my hand size up. Cards that are more aggressive, that will fend off more aggressive strategies. The fusion choices I decided to go with were Darkfire to Metamorphosis, something like just like any level 4, I guess, that has less than 1500. I could, like an Exile, I guess. Oh no, a Recruiter. You can get an extra 100 off the Recruiters. Yeah, that's a good one. It's very niche. You're almost never going to waste a Metamorphosis on your Recruiter for Darkfire. But hey, if you need 100 damage, there you go. You get 100 damage that way. Dragoness. I've never actually gone into this. I have gone into this once. I got rid of, I think it was Kaiban Man. Yeah, because he has 200 attack. I got rid of Kaiban Man with meta went into this for 1200. Pretty good. Double Gatling because you play the double blue eyes. Triple King Dragon for the triple red eyes. Master of Oz is only from Stein. Not sure why there's two. I guess in case I get a bunch of life from Snatch Steal or something, I could play a second one potentially. Like pre-mat a Cyberstein back and then summon it. It's just a big guy. Gets over stuff that's too big for your dragons because you're really only going to have 2400s out most of the time unless you drop a blue eyes. So you lose to stuff that's bigger than 2400, so this helps go over that. So is this. This also can push for lethal in some situations. It's big number, good. This for more controlling situations. You want a Cyberstein for value, rip cards out of their hand. Same thing with these. Also meta on Chick can work for 1000 Eyes, which I've never done just because it's very passive, because you can't attack with anything else with 1000 Eyes out. So I don't really go into this. I put 3 in here just because I used to have 3 black chicks as well. Could cut that out. Could cut one of these out and one of these out probably. But that's 2 easy switches you could do. This card is really good because you can negate normal trap cards, which is really strong because like this card exists. So yeah. And then this card also exists. This card I've never gone to, but it is a 7, which so you can go into it off of a red eyes, or like a King Dragon. Actually, can you even meta fusion monsters? Yeah, you can. You can just meta your King Dragon, or to get another King Dragon, especially some another dragon in your hand. So another play you can do. In case you had a bunch of blue eyes, you can just put a bunch of blue eyes, a bunch of metas. You don't need red eyes. You somehow like Cyberstein out a dragon, meta the dragon itself to go into another dragon to get another blue eyes. Yeah, but this card is basically just like a stall card. It's like, fuck, I have a really bad hand, I can't kill them, I just need time. Kind of like swords. Just meta into this and just stall. Draw a bunch of cards. I have a couple of replays just so you can see what kind of the deck kind of does. So first, I think I start with Last Will, or no, I start with Charity. It's a pretty interesting hand. There is a pretty cool combo here though, so I have to think about what to get rid of there. So I have to get rid of the Mirror Force. So everything else is pretty live. And then knock. So I pass there just because I want to let him play cards and then just clear his board and then just win. So that's what I do. So I activate the Rhoda for Exiled. Last Will first, then Exiled. Priority. Trigger Last Will gets Stein. Should have probably heavied before, but I just did that then. Like I said, not very good, but you know, we get there. Cyberstein priority. King Dragon. Special Red Eyes. Meta the Red Eyes. Summon King Dragon. Special Summon Red Eyes. And then attack with everything for 7,900 damage. This is why you play the Blue Eyes. Because if this was a Blue Eyes at the end, that's over 8k. He doesn't know how to do math and just concedes though. So that's pretty chill. This is more of a long match with game 1 and game 2. So we're going to get into that. So this is the one where I start with the last will. And then I graceful. Which is probably wrong. What did I get rid of? Got rid of the red eyes and the call. Yeah, the call's pretty dead right now. And I have too many red eyes, so I'll get rid of one of them. And we have the Kaiba for the blue eyes. So we last will for Cyberstein. Priority. Get King Dragon, special red eyes. And that's a pretty good board. That's a pretty damn. That should have probably been in defense. Yeah, with last will you can put it in defense, which is pretty nice. I think I'm just used to Mystic Tornado. That's why I was just putting an attack on accident. But yeah, this is like a crazy like combo you could do in GOAT format, which I think is really insane. With the last will Metamorphosis. Well, I didn't even have it. This was without a Metamorphosis actually. This was with the Kaiba Man last will. Right? If you have another Dragon in hand and a Metamorphosis instead of like BLS and Rhoda, then you could go even further. So here I'm trying to play around Metaforce. Which if I just attacked with everything, it wouldn't have killed, but you know, this is probably fine actually, because I play around the Spy, clear both Spies, so we can't Zaborg. But even if he did Zaborg, this protects your monsters from targeting effects, your dragons from targeting effects, so he couldn't even Zaborg if he wanted to. It also stops him from creature swapping, which is really nice. This deck is really weak to Lightning Storm, which is why you play the Solemn in the first place. On the Yu-Gi-Oh! Ultimate Masters World Championship 2006, I was actually playing Magic Drain just to counter Lightning Storm, which is pretty effective actually, because you know they have to discard for cost, and then Magic Drain just 2-for-1s. Pretty underrated card, honestly, for aggro decks like this, but for obviously like a slower controlling value deck, Magic Drain not that great. So he's just like stumbling, trying to stay alive here, just like trying to stop the bleeding. But yeah, it's over basically. He doesn't have anything. His back row's pretty dead. Just anti-back row hate stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, you tried to shoot my exile, but I just kill you. This wasn't an OTK, but you know, it's just a really cool combo on turn 1 there, so I want to show that. Now we're siding. It doesn't record the siding, unfortunately. I did some pretty good swaps, I think. I don't remember what they were, but I want to say they were pretty good. Just out of respect for my past self. So he T-sets, dash shoots me, takes the chick, because I have triple tomato. Oh yeah, I remember this match. This is just tomato beatdown, and then I combo him at the end of the tomato beatdown. So he has a pretty slow hand, so do I. I just keep summoning tomatoes and hitting him. He's got Scapegoat for stall. So we can fast forward through most of this beginning part. This is not what is interesting about this game. I just summon tomatoes. We think it's funny, we're all laughing in chat. It's a great time. Tries to try me by selling it, because, you know, you gotta protect your tomatoes. Tomatoes are good for you. It was actually really nice though, because I get a lot of chip. I bait with the swords, and we have one of the best draws we could have got, which is Metamorphosis. So what I do first is I tribute summon the red eyes, right? And then I Metamorphosis, go into Dragon, summon blue eyes on priority, so we can't even respond to that. And then we just kill him. Out of nowhere. And yeah, it's a great time. I don't remember what happens in this game much. Oh yeah, I think I just kill him. He's playing Burn. I'm playing Dragons. He just gets killed. I'm pretty sure, right off the rip. So we card destruction because I had a bricked hand, so I need a better hand. The card destruction actually activates this premature, which is really nice. And then we last will first because we're going to meta the blue eyes for a Gatling Dragon. Do that literally just to trigger the last will. To get a Cyberstein. In defense this time, because I remember last will you can put in defense. I think I get Dragon here. Just for a little bit of protection. And then I have Mirror Force for protection as well, so I have 2 layers of protection for my board. King Dragon protects himself from targeting, and then I have protection from battle with the Mirror Force, which is actually really useful here. It's a pretty nice looking turn 1 board. So he books the 26 to make it a 12. Summons BLS, summons Giant Germ to attack over this, probably. Then I just Mirror Force him. Clears his board. And then on my turn I'm able to attack now, I just kill him. That's why we play the Mirror Force. When you're going first, you just play it, they attack into you, and then you just kill him. That just deserves only dealing 2k, so I'm fine. And he's just dead. 3k, 26, 24. That's exactly 8k right there. So, yeah, Dragon's best deck. Shout out to E3. Shout out to Go Format. Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh! Shout out to Konami. How do we stop the recording?